Hello everyone, and welcome to BMAT Radio. I'm your host, Young Lion, and today we're going to be discussing DevStream 74, covering the winter update for Foxhole. Let's get started. Today, we have Matt, HB, and Mark with us to give a breakdown on the first round of changes coming to Foxhole during the winter update. Gentlemen, which of you will be steering us along this path?
Okay, so
In the intro,
I'm gonna
so-
take the reins here.
Yeah, HB is gonna lead us on to glory.
Very good. Mr. HB, last time we spoke, you didn't have much to say during the program. I believe having you start us off is a great choice. Let's hope Mark can contain himself long enough for you to make a lasting impression on our audience. You know he likes to interrupt.
I was gonna say.
So first things first, I'm HB, this is Mark, and this is Matt.
Oh yeah, I didn't introduce this.
Welcome to our dev stream. This is gonna be the first half of our winter update preview. So stay tuned.
I would say almost in some ways it's the smaller half in terms of the content, but it's bigger in terms of the like how special it's gonna be, right?
Well then, so much for that plan. Mark, the community has submitted many requests for communications and logistical support. How is this update going to improve Foxhole for the players in these areas?
There's still a lot to go in terms of logi improvements. That's still another huge thing on our radar. But the base building revamp is something that we did get to, and we've been waiting so long to work on this actually. And to me, the engineers have actually had the longest wait. Mm-hmm. Anytime we were asked about something, we're like, oh, it's gonna come later, it's gonna come later. But I think it was worth the wait.
I see. So the engineers are going to receive your blessings this update. Nice. Mark, tell us, what new goodies will the engineers receive?
Yeah, so Foxhole Trench Warfare, our big update of the year. Usually our biggest update comes at the end of the year, and this year it's going to be Trench Warfare. It's going to see a big revamp of how you build bases in Foxhole. In a weird way, it's going to add almost a sub-game to the actual game.
I was gonna say
itself.
it's not even like a revamp so much as it just feels new.
Feels new? Wow. I understand you have a small development team? How did you and your team pull off such a large project?
Really, we started this project called Project Hammer, and basically we set aside a part of the team to sort of section off and start working on this whole new system, while the rest of the team continued working on the updates between like then and now.
I like the idea of a new system. Many players have pointed out issues in the current system like not being able to see the range of your defenses before placing them. I understand these improvements take time to code into existence, but could you give us some insight on the new systems?
Really what we want to do is to come up with a new system that is going to be like a foundation for Foxhole in the years to come, because we know we haven't done anything with that system for a long time. And there's a couple of things that we wanted. First of all, we wanted to make sure that the new system more closely matched the theme.
The theme is very important. It helps players become more immersed in the Foxhole world. After all, we do spend hours of our time here. Mark, what sort of things are you looking for when you're making changes to the game's theme?
Right now, when you go in the game, there's just sort of a lot of like strange things that don't exactly fit the theme. Like the walls are really tall. You just sort of see like a lot of spam everywhere. It doesn't look like what you would imagine a front line in World War I or II it would actually look like. We wanted to make sure that it had like the depth, right? It's not just about spamming a bunch of things, but you can actually go in like deeper, right? There's a lot more options. You want to give players the ability to feel like there is a creative aspect.
Creativity is very important in Foxhole. The game does have a very heavy sandbox element to it, allowing players to shape the war by gathering resources, building defenses, and ultimately changing the world. I took a look at some of the photos you shown earlier, photos that helped you to develop the changes in the winter update. Trench Warfare is huge, and it's going to introduce a whole new level of engagement. Not only are the front lines going to become more interesting for infantry, but engineers and logistics will also have to adapt to these changes. How did you determine what changes are helpful and which changes are harmful?
We wanted to make sure it worked in harmony with what players were already doing in the game. So like we took a look at what is the example of what a trench network or like a bunker network might look like in the game. And we started looking at screenshots of maps that were like in the game itself and sort of like doing like a mapping on how we feel like, okay, if this was a battle going on from a map that is on live,
How would it develop?
how would this look like with the new system?
Impressive. You've managed to alter the entire game engine just to bring us new features? This new trench warfare system you've created is incredible. We can now develop our own bases, giving us the feeling of ownership and accomplishment while helping our team advance in a massive world war. Mark, this is big. I know the job isn't completed, but you've got to tell us how this system is supposed to work.
How does the modular base building system work? Basically, these networks are made out of segments that you can snap together, and then you can build things on these segments. You can upgrade these segments to eventually you can turn them into like a super fortress. And really one of our goals was like at the beginning, going back to our goals, we looked at like the big defensive lines from like the Second World War, like the Atlantic Wall or like the Maginot Line. And we really, our goal was like players have to be able to make that themselves. If they can't, then we're not gonna reach our goal.
This seems like a lot of work for one update. I know you guys didn't do all of this just for the winter update.
With this system, in the future, like the sky's the limit. We can add like so many modifications. And really, I'd imagine in a few months from now, like it's just gonna be,
You
there's
can
like
make
so
so
many
much
options,
cool
right?
stuff. I'm so excited.
So, Matt, I've spoken with many of my warden friends, and they're interested in how fast can the new shovel dig the trenches. Have you heard anything from the collies? And if you have, what questions do they have about the shovel mechanics?
Can you kill people with the shovel?
We'll answer that. We'll answer that question
Okay.
later. Yeah.
I feel like that's like the number one question.
Weird.
Which is very strange, but anyway.
Right. On to more serious business. Sorry, collies. So, the shovels are used to dig the trenches, and what are the trenches going to do for us, Mark?
Basically, you'll be able to use your shovel to make your trenches, and basically the trenches they will provide. So we're only gonna talk about some of these things right now because some of it we're still working on. But basically, they're gonna provide you with full cover, and they're also gonna block the passage of the enemy, and they're also gonna be very useful in connecting multiple bunkers together. And there is more to this that we're gonna get to next time, but there is gonna be a critical importance for why these trenches are necessary, right?
Let me get this straight. We're going to be able to build our own trench networks with customizable fobs and equip them with multiple engagement/entry points. Guys, I have to tell you, this is a massive change and I welcome it. Our back lines will be more secure and we can use strategy to overcome our enemies. I'm loving this update already. I am worried about the green ash, and rather will be affected by the green ash howitzer shells while inside the new bunkers, but with some planning, I think we can work around it. We also had a quick look at a new infantry deployable weapon that fires a 30mm round. This is an anti-tank weapon that must be deployed using 2 soldiers. Currently, we don't know how soon we can expect to unlock this weapon, but it may be unlocked shortly after the armored car. I'm not sure how I feel about this weapon because we haven't seen it employed into any battles yet. The Red River game mode looks fun, but with no clan features, it seems like more of the same thing to me. You know, the same old, we will grind, we will fight, we will request clan features. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like that the devs are exploring new avenues, but it seems like they're dragging the same issues from Foxhole into a new game. I would like to see the Red River after Foxhole 1.0 release, but anytime before then only leaves me questioning whether we'll ever see clan features in Foxhole. I don't think I'll be playing the Red River if it's just Foxhole in a different time period. I'm simply not that interested in a reskin at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our episode of BMAT Radio. I'm Young Lion, signing off. I'll see you in the trenches.